The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining our webinar, What Does Your Body Need to Run Better? Magnesium, sponsored by Natural Vitality. Ashley Koff RD will be your host. We'll be answering questions at the end of the webinar, so please send them in via the chat box. The webinar will be up on Ashley's website and YouTube channel by the end of the week if you would like to use it as a resource. Right, over to you, Ashley.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you everyone for joining. This is such a pleasure for me because magnesium and understanding what it does in the body and how it could help a body run better was a game changer for me and a big first step to me getting involved in my better nutrition, getting my better nutrition, helping my body run better. And also, secondly, when you look at the photo here, I would just like to tease the fact that we are going to be talking about chocolate. So there are delicious ways to get magnesium in. And as always, I'm so grateful to Natural Vitality for sponsoring this. I, as an individual, have been taking their products for easily 15 years and recommend it to a lot of my patients and others. So thank you. So what I want to do today is, first of all, welcome everyone, which hopefully I've just done. And second of all, we're going to go through really what does the body need to run better and why magnesium plays such a critical role. I want to identify who needs more magnesium so you can understand. I don't want you guessing if your body needs more magnesium. I want you to understand if yours does and how you can get it, or if you're a practitioner, how you can help your patients assess that on that front. And then let's talk about how you can get magnesium in more often. And we will go through some of the resources I have to offer, as well as saving time for a very robust Q&A. So as I mentioned, I do not want anyone guessing if their body needs more magnesium. And today, thank you again to Natural Vitality. They have been kind enough to offer to me to be able to share with you the Better Magnesium Evaluation for free. So at any time when you're watching this, and if you are watching and it is not live, you may text CALM123 to the number 44222, and you will get that evaluation, which will help you assess several areas of your magnesium intake, which we're going to talk about. All right, who am I? I get to do a lot of fun. I am a registered dietitian. That means that I have a medical license. I have been doing this for about 20 years. And my goal is to help you understand what your body needs to run better and how to get it in more often deliciously. So let's get that done. So when we talk about what does the body need to run better, you know, there is one thing that I've learned probably in the last 15 years of giving talks on nutrition, and that is there really isn't anyone that wants better nutrition. They might say that they want better nutrition if I, the nutritionist, the dietitian, asks that and asks people to raise their hand. But at the end of the day, what we really want is better health. And if we have our better health, we want it so badly, we're saying, like, we know we want to keep it. And if we don't have it, we desperately want to get it and understand how we can get it and then keep it. And in order to understand what better health is, we need to understand what the body needs. So what better nutrition is it's giving the body the nutrients it needs to run better without giving it ingredients that can irritate, overwhelm, or disrupt its function. And that better nutrition, when defined that way, that better nutrition is what powers better health. Because just like anything, when you have the resources that you need, your body is able to do the work that it was designed to do. So our bodies, actually, generally, human bodies, we need roughly the same things, the same ingredients. But depending on where we're at in our life stage, depending on what's gone on for us from a health standpoint, depending on many factors that we're going to look into, our bodies might need different amounts of things at different times. And it's really important that we talk about giving the body the nutrients it needs to run better. The second part of this, without ingredients that can irritate, overwhelm, or disrupt its function. And that's going to be really important whether you're talking about foods or dietary supplements. Okay, so we do not want anyone guessing if your body, what does my body need? I'm here talking to you about magnesium. I'm going to say some wonderful things about the benefits of magnesium. I just told you it was a game changer for me in getting my better health. And that might be enough for you. You might be just saying, like, oh, I'm going to go just eat a bunch of magnesium. Well, whoa. Before you do anything, I want you to assess your current total nutrition. That's going to be what goes in and on your body most often. That's food, that's supplements, that's medications, as well as your current health status. And I don't need you to do that by yourself or come up with all those questions or even know what those questions or proper answers are. That's why I have the Better Magnesium Evaluation free for you. You can just text CALM123 to 44222. Okay. Why magnesium? So this is going to make it so cellularly crystal clear how critical this mineral is. And it's so important because we've spent a lot of time, especially in the last century as well as in this century, talking about other minerals or other vitamins. And based on the way that we live our lives today and based on what our food supply looks like, so many factors, it is critical that we understand why magnesium. And to do that, we want to dive into what magnesium does at the cellular level. So every cell needs magnesium to grow. In order to convert the food that we eat into usable energy, we need magnesium. To change proteins that we eat, so those proteins that are amino acids, into our own enzymes. And enzymes go about and they do a bunch of work in the body that help to build the cell, to repair things, to break things apart, all these different things. We need magnesium. And then for the living processes that go on constantly, you know, everything from our heart pumping, blood vessels expanding and contracting, all of that, from that muscular response, we need magnesium at the cellular level. So it's really critical that we're getting that magnesium in. And what else does magnesium do? Some of this is occurring at the cellular level, but I want to go into more specifically what it is, because this is where you're going to start to go, oh yes, my body, forget about everybody, my body needs magnesium daily. We need to turn off stress. We need to, when stress happens, and remember, the body does not distinguish between good and bad stress. When stress happens, which is totally normal, the body reuses the magnesium that's inside the cell to turn off that stress. The body also uses magnesium to relax muscles. So if you form of a bicep while you're watching this webinar and hearing me talk, you can only hold that bicep for so long. You want to let your bicep relax. When you let that bicep muscle relax, that relaxation is an example of what magnesium is doing. This next one, building healthy bone, is often misunderstood. You know, we think of building healthy bones and we think of calcium, but magnesium plays a critical role along with other nutrients in building healthy bone. And we are building healthy bone throughout our life cycle. So it is important that every day of our lives we're getting in that magnesium. It also helps to support healthy blood sugar levels. You know, right now, as I'm recording this, it's November, it's diabetes awareness, and we have millions of Americans who are totally aware of diabetes, but they're trying to figure out either how to prevent it or how to improve their blood sugar levels. And one of the key things, as you'll see, is we need to make sure we're getting an adequate magnesium because it plays a critical role to support healthy blood sugar levels. Promotes heart health. Remember, your heart is a muscle, as is your digestive tract a muscle. So both of those muscles need to be able to contract and then relax, and that relaxation comes from magnesium. So take the visual with me of your digestive tract, so not just your heart pumping and relaxing, but now your digestive tract relaxing. That's going to reduce things like bloating. It's going to reduce things like constipation, improve better elimination. All of those things are going to play an important role in magnesium is going to play an important role in allowing the digestive tract to relax. And apologize to anyone who hears some ambient noise. I live in Washington, D.C., and we always have some emergency vehicles going around depending on who is driving by. Magnesium also helps to build and maintain a healthy immune system. So we have a couple of quotes here I think are really valuable when I look at other players, such important individuals in the nutrition space. Michael Murray reminds us that magnesium is essential in more than 300 biochemical reactions, 300. So look at things like anxiety, depression, irritability, fear, insomnia, confusion, memory loss. Carol Carolyn Dean, a medical advisory board, Nutritional Magnesium Association, talks about how heart disease, still the #1 killer in America, but the fact that low levels of magnesium are associated with all the risk factors of heart disease cannot be ignored. So I know we pay attention to, should we have fats, or what's the role of sodium, or what kinds of fats, but we need to be paying attention to, are we getting in enough magnesium daily for heart health? And we're talking about every body needs magnesium daily, but we are not getting it in. There is a staggering statistic, and I would like for you to guess. You can go ahead and type your answer in the comment section. I believe that there will be a winner that is going to be picked from the live version here. And I would like for you to choose, when it comes to the magnesium deficiency, how many people are not getting their minimum daily requirement of magnesium? So I'm talking about adults here. Is it answer A, 60% of men and 50% of women, B, 75% of men and women, C, 80% of men and 70% of women? And remember, this is the daily requirement. This is the recommended daily allowance that our government sets to prevent disease associated with not getting in enough magnesium. We're not talking about how much do we need or how many people are getting enough to promote optimal health or better health, as I was talking about, powered by better nutrition. We're really talking about that baseline amount. And so with that said, if you want to go ahead and put in A, B, or C into the comment section, we will be choosing a winner on that part. I'm going to hold for here on the slide just for a moment to see if anyone wants to put their guess in. Again, it is a staggering amount of individuals, and I'm going to come back in a moment and tell us the answer. I'm just going to let you guys all decide A, B, or C. So who needs more magnesium? Well, everybody needs more magnesium daily, and we're not getting it in. Why are we not getting it in? If it's essential for metabolism, as Dr. Oz is talking about, lowering blood pressure, dilating arteries, so many things if you are magnesium deficient, but how could you be magnesium deficient, right? What if you're just eating some chocolate? Well, hold on. The processing of food today has processed out a lot of magnesium. And so what we see is that a shaft of wheat, which might have, if we look at the difference in a shaft of wheat with white flour, you can see an 80% reduction in the amount of magnesium. We have aging and damaged soil. Our soil has not been treated that well, and that can certainly reduce magnesium. We have the standard American diet where we are not getting in sources of magnesium. We have people who, for dietary intolerance reasons, are avoiding foods, and as they're avoiding those, they're not looking to replace the ones that might be good contributors of magnesium with others that are good contributors, or they don't tolerate good contributors of magnesium. I'll go into those in a moment. Dietary preferences. We might just prefer to not choose the foods that are higher in magnesium, and we may prefer to consume foods that are higher in calcium. Now, why is this important? Calcium works in opposition to magnesium. So if your diet is more calcium focused, if you've added a supplement of calcium, and if your diet is getting in a good amount of calcium, then you may be getting in more calcium and as a result need more magnesium. We may also be taking supplemental forms of magnesium that either in quantity or in quality our body is not absorbing them because the quality, the kind of magnesium is not the kind that is going to be well absorbed. So when you do my better magnesium evaluation, these are the questions I'm going to ask. So I make it very easy to see if these factors are contributing to you being lower in magnesium. What are some of the reasons we aren't getting in enough magnesium? And what are some of the symptoms of deficiency? How could you be thinking about, does this apply to me? We mentioned some of these before: stress, fatigue, low energy, muscle tension or cramps, premenstrual cramps. It could be headaches, weakness, constipation, anxiety, and certainly other nutrients could be also a factor here, but magnesium could be playing a critical role as well. If you're concerned about bone health, if you're dealing with hormonal imbalances, if you're dealing with calcification, especially in the arteries, depression, if you're seeing, if it's kidney stone, all of these different things, those could be signs that you're not meeting your magnesium needs. And I want to take a moment and just go back and make sure you put in your answer, because you're not going to believe it. 80% of men and 70% of women are not meeting their recommended daily allowance, the RDA for magnesium, which is roughly about 400 milligrams. 80% of us are not getting in the nutrient that turns off stress, the ones that relaxes our muscle, the one that builds a healthy bone, the one that maintains. So what's happening here is the body is having to decide which of these things it prioritizes with the amount of magnesium that it has. And so for many of us, it may not prioritize turning off stress more often, right? Because we have to have our heart muscle relaxed. So it's very, very important that we pay attention to getting in enough magnesium. So everybody needs magnesium, and I want to talk a little bit about the calcium and magnesium balance here, because as I was talking about before, when you're making a muscle and relaxing that muscle, you want to make sure that you're getting in roughly about the same amount, right? In a quality that the body is going to absorb and to meet the body's needs. Now, you might have higher needs for magnesium depending on some of what you have going on health-wise as well. You also want to make sure that we're getting in enough to turn off stress, to relax those muscles, as we talked about, to make sure that our hormones are balancing properly, our heart is pumping properly, and that we're able to sleep. And I will tell you, what I see more often than not is more of my patients doing great on calcium, because we've been talking about calcium for a really long time. And also, calcium happens to be in more of the foods that more people are consuming, or making a concerted effort to get the calcium from foods or from supplements if we're not getting it from foods, than we historically have with magnesium. 80% of men, 70% of women are not getting in enough when it comes on that part. So it's such an issue for us. Fun graphics. So we've got to turn off the light switch more often. And in order to do that, we have to get in magnesium on a daily basis in a form that is well absorbed. And so how do we do that? Well, I could talk about being perfect, and this is for all the fun ways that we could do. I could talk about perfectly doing it from food. And I love to have you do it perfectly from food. I could tell you to make your hemp pesto, you know, so you get in a good amount of magnesium. I could certainly tell you to add some cacao nibs so that you're getting, you know, that you're increasing the magnesium content. And oh, by the way, I am telling you those things. But what I'm also telling you is that you don't have to be perfect from a food standpoint. And oh, by the way, it can be extremely challenging to meet your magnesium needs from a food standpoint alone, even if you switch to cashew butter, which is underneath here. So that's why I look at supplements as well as beauty and bath products, so that your total nutrition is going to meet your better magnesium amount. So what are some of those foods? You know, we've got a bunch of different, we have pulses and grains here. So, you know, things like lentils and peas and our whole grains, they can be a great way. We also have our greens, which can be a great way. You're starting to see why, when I look at the standard American diet, we don't have as many people meeting our magnesium needs. Yes, people are good about getting in almonds, but you know what? When you actually consume most store-bought almond milks, as opposed to making it yourself, they actually fortify with calcium. In fact, many of the almond milks on the market will say as much, if not more, calcium than a glass of milk. And you know what else? You're not getting in the almonds. When they make the almonds, remember, the almond milk, you're straining out that almond meal, so you're losing the magnesium there. So while eating almonds can be a great way to get in the magnesium, drinking almond milk may actually be contributing to your calcium intake, which means it's increasing your needs for magnesium. This is all creating more stress, which is increasing our needs for magnesium. Sesame seeds, a great source of magnesium, an even better source of calcium. So what we want to understand is when we deliver this, this is a great way, nature does a great way of providing nutrients in the balance we're meant to get to bring into our diet. But as soon as we add other things, we could be, again, throwing the balance off in favor of calcium. I don't have my cacao nibs on here, but my chocolate should be. But I have many people who are consuming milk chocolate. Well, milk is a contributor of calcium. If you're just getting in the milk fat, then obviously you're getting in neither of those. But if your cacao has been processed, highly processed, you've processed out more of the magnesium. So that's why I use cacao nibs and cacao powder, or dark chocolate, which would be 65 or 75%. I also love blends of nuts and seeds. They can be a great way to get in more magnesium more often. I do also on my site have the Better Magnesium menu, which will show you 7 days of how to get in that magnesium, and we'll go over that in a moment. Actually, we'll go over that right now because I have that over here. So from a resource standpoint, you will be getting the slides, and you can click on that, or you can head to ashleykoffApproved.com and you can get that menu. You don't have to follow 7 days of it. Remember, that's just going to have you meet your recommended daily allowance. You still might need more magnesium based on your calcium intake and based on other life issues. And that's why I want you to do the magnesium evaluation to see where you might be needing more magnesium and why. I also, throughout my social media, on YouTube especially, I have several videos for you. I also have for each different topic that we talked about, stress, heart health, all of these things, free for you on Facebook under my video section. You can get that. I also do weekly Facebook Lives. Last night I was talking about diabetes, so I was showing off one of my favorite ways to get in magnesium from a supplemental form, and I want to make sure that I talk about that part as well. So the Better Magnesium menu, and of course you can get your evaluation here for free. Another phenomenal resource. This is a resource that I rely on a lot because as someone who shares information with the media as well as with individuals as well as with other practitioners, I like to make sure that I am using science-based information, evidence-based statistic and information. And so you will see things like showing about diabetes linked to magnesium deficiency. Magnesium may boost brain power. Correcting magnesium deficiencies may prolong life. And the studies are here for you to be able to go through. So especially if you're anyone who's looking for research studies as well as resources, and there's Carolyn Dean talking about that balance, please go ahead and check out the Nutritional Magnesium Association. Now, I wanted to, because they sponsored this, I wanted to share with you, when I talk about magnesium being a game changer for me, it literally was between magnesium and probiotics, they were the two things that finally enabled me to get my better health powered by better nutrition. And one of the things that was really interesting was I had been taking magnesium before I met this product, and I thought magnesium did not work for me, quote unquote. And a big part of that was I was taking a tablet and also a form that I now know is not well absorbed. I see this with my patients all the time too. They will bring in bone products. It will have a smaller amount of magnesium compared to calcium, and it will have a form like a magnesium oxide that might not be as well absorbed, especially depending on what they have going on for their digestive system. So what I love about, and what was game changer for me with Natural Calm, I started off with this product over here on the left because a lot of these didn't exist at the time. And what was so great about the powdered form is because I was using magnesium to help turn off the stress response and enable my better digestion, taking a tablet that requires additional digestion wasn't an effective method for me. A powdered form was a game changer. So we have a powdered form, we also have a liquid. So for those that are working on their better magnesium and calcium balance that may need supplemental calcium, there's that option. There are also some fun ones and some case specific, so for kids or for more attention from a sleep standpoint. And then two of my new besties, Calm Bath is always in my bathroom. This is one of those that if I'm hitting it harder at the gym or if I'm traveling or coming back from traveling, I will use this in the bathtub because I love baths. For those that don't love baths or that want really that spot specific pain and tension relaxation, then I use the Calm Cream. And one of my favorite things to do with the Calm Cream is I apply it to my sacrum area before a drive, if I think I'm going to be in traffic or I have a long drive, and then I turn on the seat warmer and it's like a little massage going on while I'm doing that. So it's one of my favorites. There are two new products that I'm really enjoying. Speaking of aching muscles, I'm enjoying using these both myself and for my clients, from Calmful Muscle and Calmful Gut. And Calmful Gut also includes glutamine, which is going to be really important for helping the integrity, the quality, and the health of the digestive tract lining so that those probiotics stay in there, so that the absorption part of your digestion is working better. And then the magnesium helps to work on that movement, that motility, as well as elimination by helping with the relaxation of the digestive tract, the cells of the digestive tract. And then there is a gummy, which is an option for kid-friendly and adult approved on that part. So I am going to move it over to Matt at this point. I believe that we have a prize winner. that he can go ahead and share with us in terms of whoever was guessing A, B, or C. And I wanted to just provide you with both my, if you have questions that came out of this, if you want any additional information, you've got my handles, and you also have the social media handles for Natural Vitality. I highly recommend following them because they've been known to do great giveaways. So I always like being able to get giveaways or tell my friends and patients about giveaways to be able to try the Natural Vitality products. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Ashley. So did you say if it was A, B, or C?
I did. I said that it was C.
Can we confirm? Great. Okay. So let's have a look here. I'm going to count. Tina Burks is the winner.
Woohoo! Tina!
Thank you for everyone else that that joined, that took part. Though we did have more people say B than C. So from looking at the people who entered, but C was the correct answer. All right, and Tina, if you can email me, or actually I have your email and I will reach out to you after the webinar. So Ashley, we have a few questions for the Q&A.
Great.
What is a good recommended daily magnesium dose for adults and for kids?
So, this is a great question, and there is a caveat to that question, as there always is from me, who is doing things personalized as a practitioner. So the first thing is, I will not let anyone guess if and standardize the recommendation. I want to make sure that we're doing that full assessment. That's why I made the evaluation free, because you may need a higher dose. But what my recommendation is to start with the recommended dose of your supplement that's on your supplement. And here's why. When it comes to the form of the magnesium, there are differences in how well they will be absorbed. So for example, the magnesium citrates that's in the Calm, I get much better and effective results at lower doses than I do with patients who are taking other forms of magnesium. And as I mentioned before, perhaps in a capsule or in a tablet. So in that zone for an adult, I might say, so if 400 milligrams is your roughly, depending on your age and gender, et cetera, but is roughly your recommended daily amount, I don't usually feel that somebody needs to get all of their magnesium in the supplemental form. So I might start them at a 250 or a 300 milligram of a highly absorbable form, like a magnesium citrate, or even a magnesium glycinate. And for children, I usually start off lower than that, although kids are, because we're building bone and kids are certainly dealing with stress and we want to maintain healthy digestive systems, I am very comfortable at a 150, even a 200 milligrams. And of course, with kids, we can't, there's differences. Not all kids are the same. We group them by different ages. And so when I'm talking about a child, first of all, I'm talking about from age 3 on up, but also I really focus on that higher amount for my teenagers than I do for the preteens or the, the kids under the age of 10 on that part.
Okay, thank you. We have another question just come in. Is magnesium in a powder form superior to a pill or capsule?
Well, I could say yes, because I personally take it in a powdered form, and that's what I recommend to most of my patients. But let's be clear. If you are taking magnesium in a tablet or a capsule and it's working for you, but the question mark of working can be multifactorial. That's why we have the evaluation on there. And you're remembering to take it, then, or it's part of a quality multi. I'm not going to say that it's ineffective. Here's the reason that I prefer a powder and, quite frankly, a cream and even the bath to doing a tablet or a capsule. And this is talking 20 years of experience with my patients. The reason that I prefer that is that it doesn't require any other assistance digestively, because it's going to be absorbed really easily as it's going into the body. So nothing else has to be broken down. And my experience has been that the reason that we're adding supplemental magnesium, remember, is all of those cells are needing the magnesium, and we want it to be well absorbed. And so I would say, I believe as a practitioner, superior, but if your particular chosen form is a tablet or now even a gummy, I'm open to that. I just would want you to make sure that it's I prefer, as I was mentioning, the magnesium citrate or the glycinate. And I also, in terms of quote unquote working, I would make sure that you do the assessment and are feeling that you're getting all of the health benefits of magnesium.
Great. Another one come in. Which type of magnesium offers the most absorption?
Right. Well, so that's a tricky question. Somebody's trying to maybe trying to punk me here. And I only say that because there is no one specific form. What I can tell you, my experience has been that magnesium oxide is not well absorbed by most people. But remember, digestively, our digestive system's absorption has to do with a lot of things. And so, how is your stomach acid working? How is your digestive system working? And if you're taking magnesium to improve how your digestive system is working, I do recommend a citrate or a glycinate. But what I will say is that somebody might say, oh, glycinate, and then go take it in a tablet form. I still find that I personally did better with a powdered form of the citrate than I did with a tablet form of the glycinate. So it's tricky in that space. And there are, by the way, several other forms of magnesium. I'm using the ones that are more readily available in the supplement form.
Thank you. We have a time crunch now, so this will be our last question of the webinar. Aside from what you already mentioned, are there any other symptoms of magnesium deficiency I should be looking out for?
Wow, because like all the 30 or 40 that I mentioned on that part, deficiency is a really interesting statement. And so for me, I look at, there are certain things that I consider just essential for us to be getting in on a daily basis. Now, essential is an interesting term because our vitamins and minerals, so our body doesn't make magnesium, so we need to be getting it in. And so we can have a deficiency might be that the way that one person might define a deficiency, for example, if I am a medical practitioner working like a doctor working in the office or a nurse, I might do your blood test and say you do not have a deficiency. However, if you are seeing Ashley Koff RD in her office, I might say that, okay, so we are talking about you having cramps, your either PMS or after a workout, you notice that your muscles are tighter, or while you're flying, you notice that your digestive system tends to slow down and you feel more bloated when you're flying, or you have trouble going to the bathroom, number 2, after flying. And as a result, even if you drink coffee, you need something else. So there are other signs, but I'd be careful to call them signs of deficiency. What I would say is there's signs that magnesium, certainly doing the evaluation would be helpful for you, and also that improving both the quality of the form as well as the quantity of your overall, remember it's your total magnesium intake, food, supplements, and medications. And I guess I forgot that one with medications. There are some medications that can interfere with your body's absorption of magnesium. And so that might be another area if you're taking medications. I talk about that and inquire about that in the evaluation to make sure in that instance, you could be creating a deficiency, but before you create a clinical deficiency, you may be creating an imbalance that could have you not be getting your better health and not feeling as healthy as you could.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. Remember to everyone, text CALM, capital CALM 123 to 44222 to get your free magnesium evaluation. And if you would like to use this webinar as a resource, send to friends, etc., it will be up on Ashley's website and YouTube channel by the end of the week. Once again, thank you, Ashley, and be on the lookout for our next webinars. Thank you, everyone.